6 on Alaska's news source. The search for 2 men after their boat sank near a western Alaska island last night. How family members are reacting to the rush to try and find them.
Another Alaska family reacts to the discovery of an iron dog racer's body falling through ice or after falling through ice months ago. How they're managing the unimaginable emotion.
And the future of Fairbanks' business economy. Why more changes could be on the way after the closure of Lavelle's Bistro.
And thunderstorms fire up across the state this evening, producing hundreds of lightning strikes. I'll show you where these storms are headed next.
You're watching Alaska's news source.
I think for the community search and rescue, I think the ocean is too rough for them to go out.
Tonight, 2 men are missing, and there is a search in western Alaska to find them.
The boat 3 men were on sank as they were seal hunting. 1 teenager did make it safely to shore. Justin Matson updates us on the search from the newsroom. Justin?
Yeah, that's right. The daughter of one of the missing men, who's 65 years old, says he is from Mikoriak. That village's population is about 200. She says a bunch of family are on their way to their mom's house, so she is not alone as this search continues. This is a photo from 65-year-old Albert Williams' daughter. She says the 19-year-old in the picture with him is his son, who's her brother, who was rescued. Troopers say 72-year-old Samuel Shavings was also on the boat with them, as the Williams family says they were seal hunting. Both Williams and Shavings, who we have not received a picture of, are still missing right now. Troopers say this is where the 10-foot boat they were on sank, on the north side of Nunivak Island in the Bering Sea. That's in the Bethel census area. Williams' 19-year-old son is at home recovering.
He spent quite a few hours in the clinic trying to get his body temperature back to normal. And he's home, but he's very sore. We have to help him walk around. But he's been alert the whole time.
That's Albert Williams' daughter, Dallas Williams. She says her brother, who was rescued, told her the seas were really rough when the boat started taking on water. Troopers say that a C-130 was launched Tuesday morning in the search effort. Coast Guard has routed a vessel towards the area as well. We have reached out to the Alaska Department of Safety, who said the search continues. The Samuels family has declined to comment. Leaders from the nearby village of Mikoriak declined to comment, they say, out of respect for the families. Justin Matson, Alaska's news source.
The skies have been clear off the southwest coast of Alaska today, but storms are moving in.
Yeah, Chief Meteorologist Melissa Fry joining us now. Melissa, how will the weather be there tonight?
Yeah, really the biggest concern continues to be the wind, and that's why we are seeing choppy seas in that area. Winds coming in out of the west, northwest, sustained at about 18 miles per hour, but consistently gusting more than 30 miles per hour, and those are going to stay strong here through the night. Those thunderstorms, which have been firing up across the western skies, again, now pushing to the west, and some of that cloud cover, even some rain showers pushing in here again as you head there just off the coast of Tuxtla Bay. Now, in addition to the wind, we do have small craft advisories in place because of those choppy seas. So that means sea heights will be between 3 and 9 feet, actually getting worse here in the coming days. Now, the thunderstorms are going to continue to be active for the remainder of the evening, spreading further inland, even seeing lightning spreading across Anchorage Bowl into the Susitna Valley and now onto the western Kenai Peninsula. More details again on those storms and what you can expect for tonight. But as for tomorrow, once that clears overnight, we will see mostly clear conditions to start your Wednesday. Temperatures will be in the mid-40s, some sun breaks before clouds increase in the second half of the day. High temperatures getting back into the mid-50s tomorrow. And I'll have a more detailed look at that full statewide forecast here in a few minutes.
All right, Melissa, thank you very much. Well, for the first time since an iron dog racer's body was found last week, since falling in the ice as he worked back in March, Sky Wrench's fiancée shared some of her memories with Alaska's news source.
This is one thing that he taught me, was to work hard.
Heidi Guzman says that she hopes people remember the values she says the 32-year-old had. The two were together 5 years, became engaged last September. Wrench was identified Friday after troopers say a pilot found him near the Susitna River on Thursday. The drilling contractor fell into the ice with his coworker, Sean Kendall, in March. They were attempting to cross the Susitna River on ATV. Kendall has not been found. Rich's fiancé says his family plans to have him cremated, saying they want to return some of his ashes to a place that was important to him.
We each want to have pieces of our own of the ashes and whatnot. But we'll probably go sprinkle some of the ashes in that river because he spent a lot of his childhood and adulthood up in that area, and then of course passed in that area. So that's an appropriate place for that as well.
And she says she'd like to ask everyone to continue to keep Sean's family in mind and pray for his body to be recovered.
Well, today in Fairbanks, the Chamber of Commerce shared its thoughts on the closure of LaBelle's Bistro, as well as the state of the restaurant scene in Fairbanks. Donald Burgess, the CEO of the Chamber of Commerce, says he will personally miss the bistro, but the closure of the business is not concerning to the Chamber. According to Burgess, this spring has seen a handful of changes in the Fairbanks restaurant industry, including the sale of Ivory Jacks. Despite economic uncertainties that have in part driven these changes, Burgess says the economic outlook for Fairbanks does remain promising.
I was expecting that we would have a very good 2025. And believe it or not, despite the challenges and the uncertainties that we see and we hear about, I still feel that things will go well. There's gonna be some difficulties along the way, but we are not only resilient, but we're also creative, and we'll find ways to get around and over whatever challenges come to us.
Now, Frank Eagle, an owner of LaBelle's, did express general concern over the state of the economy and says the current economic climate played a role in the closure of his business. While Burgess says he recognizes that changes in the Fairbanks restaurant industry may cause a small increase in unemployment, he believes that those who lose their jobs will be able to find new ones once the industry stabilizes and tourism picks up.
The Anchorage Health Department says last week that it's identified a case of measles in the city. Chief Medical Officer Dr. George Conway says the department is especially concerned about the possible spread of the virus.
Remember during COVID that herd immunity was an issue, and we aspired during COVID to cover as many people as possible with the aspiration that we'd have maybe 85 or 90% of people immunized. Measles, because it's the most transmissible respirable disease. It can be transmitted in relatively large spaces, can stay in the air for a couple of hours. But the main thing is, because it's so readily transmitted, we need vaccine coverage of 93 to 95% to have what we call effective herd immunity.
Now, the case is at least the third recorded in Alaska this year. Conway says a key method of prevention, getting vaccinated. That said, if you think you were exposed to the measles and are worried about infection, there are a few things you should keep in mind.
Now, incubation typically takes more than a week, but can take up to 14 days. It's according to AHD. Measles is characterized in part by similar symptoms to the common cold, but is also often accompanied by rash and fever and sometimes white spots in the mouth. The virus is not typically fatal, but it can cause death. And if you are seeking medical care and think you have the measles, you need to call your healthcare provider before heading in. This will help stop the spread.
Right, and still ahead, planting season is here. We want to make sure that you are ahead of the curve.
We have advice. Wait until you see how easy it is to grow your own potatoes and not have to dig in the dirt.
You're watching Alaska's news source.
Well, planting season is upon us, and it's time to get our seedlings in the ground.
Absolutely. Tracy Sinclair shares the many ways to plant potatoes in this week's Arctic Gardens.
If you haven't started your potatoes yet, it's probably about time. I know of 4 ways to grow potatoes. The first one is your traditional method. You put the potato in the ground and you hill dirt around it. The second one is the lazy way to grow potatoes. That's putting the potato into the ground just to a shallow depth and covering it with straw or soil and then letting it go. The third way is growing potatoes in containers. I have not had very good luck with this. I'm clearly not an expert, but thankfully, I know someone who is. How many pounds of potatoes do you get every year?
Somewhere between 200 and 300 usually. We fill up 18-gallon tubs like that, And we usually fill up 4 to 5 of those every year.
We definitely want to see how Don is doing this.
Yeah, we're going to put about 6 inches of soil in the bottom. And this is just garden soil that we had. We have a bin in the back. So we have about 6 inches in here. A 1/4 cup. This is just all-purpose organic fertilizer.
A quick mix with your hands and gloves definitely recommended.
And then it's just a matter of, there's a down end and an up end. The eyes, you want the eyes up. And there's a little nib at one end. It's right here. That's where the bottom root comes out.
Don puts 2 seed potatoes in each 8-gallon pot. Cover them with dirt and set the pots in a place that doesn't get a lot of direct sunlight. In a few weeks, you'll start to see plants. Make sure to keep enough soil covering the potatoes so the sun doesn't get to them. You said we're now in May, almost June, and you still got potatoes from last year.
Yep.
And so how long is that going to carry you? Will that carry you until this next harvest?
No, we're pretty much done with last year's potatoes. There's a dozen or 2 left.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, just finished the carrots and just about to finish the potatoes.
That's a harvest I'd like to see. Now, the 4th way that I've grown potatoes is in a potato tower. If you'd like to see how I put mine together this year, check out the web extra on our website. Just find the tab that says Arctic Gardens. Tracy Sinclair, Alaska's News Source.
Thanks for listening. Click subscribe so you can get the latest podcast from Alaska's News Source automatically. And stay up to date with breaking news and in-depth reporting available for free 24/7 with the Alaska's News Source app.